Welcome to Different Leaf, a show for new and experienced cannabis consumers. I'm Britt Smith. 'Tis almost the season, folks, which means it's time for another installment of our High Holidays gift guide with one of my favorite people, Different Leaf, the magazine's merch and more writer, John Arvanitis. There are thousands of different options for gifts within the growing world of weed, so it's understandable if you get overwhelmed with what to get the smoker in your life. Fear not, we've got you. From the pages of this year's issues of Different Leaf, the magazine, John is going to talk about his ultimate list of the best cannabis-related products from 2022 that will truly take your gift-giving skills to the next level. We'll be discussing present ideas and stocking stuffer items from new technology like microdosing marijuana mists and vape-dosage tracking devices to our most highly recommended cannabis-infused skincare products. We'll also cover some of the ultramodern drinkable products from both new and long-time consumers like THC powder sticks and canned CBD water. And we've got a few good ways that you can make your own cannabis-related gifts and organizations you can donate to within the cannabis world. So get ready to take some notes so you know who's going to be getting what and of course what you're going to be getting yourself. And we'll be right back for our 2022 Holidays gift guide with John Arvanitis. Tell me how you pick the products that you recommend in Different Leaf, because the selection, the curation of products is gorgeous. Like, how do you choose? But there's so many to choose from. What makes the cut for you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's an excellent question. First and foremost, I would like to just credit Janet Reynolds, who's one of the editors of Different Leaf, the magazine. She does a great job culling through. Michael Cusick is often on the front lines, chit-chatting with people and finding out just the right products to write about, because I think cannabis as like an industry or like a vertical, whatever you want to call it, has grown in popularity. There's been maybe even more like fly-by-night kind of companies or people who kind of make certain claims that might not be super legitimate. So we have to do like a pretty intense vetting process. And I think Michael being a publisher and Janet being an editor and Jen being a production person, they can kind of vet a lot of these people and make sure that we're only sharing the most legit and most interesting and kind of the most effective versions of these products with the Different Leaf subscribers. One thing I will say though, which is obvious, is that I think we can both agree that the best cannabis related gift you can get anyone during this holiday season is a subscription to Different Leaf.
Subscription to Different Leaf. I was just going to say that.
Yep, 4 issues for only $20. Visit differentleaf.com/subscribe, right? Okay, so we got that. We got that in there.
You know it. Get it out of the way, because that is a stocking stuffer gift right there. It's the most gorgeous magazine. Every single magazine cover gets better and better.
Absolutely. And getting mail is like the best, right? I think, in fact, we chatted about this last time I was on the podcast. Like, we're venturing a little bit more out into the world, but during the times when we were mostly stuck indoors and up until today, like, getting a package is still really fun, and getting my Different Leaf magazine in the mail every quarter is so much fun.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it gives me a little excuse to sit down and take some time to myself to read about some incredibly interesting stories. And every single issue, there is also the merch and more section where our lovely guest today, John, runs down some of the best products that are out there right now. And today we're going to be talking about what you guys can buy for the holidays. Holidays with a D-A-Z-E. I had to think about the letter Z. I almost said Z. Holidays gift guide for Different Leaf. I always forget which one I say. If I'm English, I say Z. And then if I'm in America, I say Z.
Love it.
John, let's take it away with some of the stuff that's good for us, our bodies, our wellness, our relaxation. What are some of the products that you have for that?
Yeah, and I think something that I've seen as a trend overall in writing about these products is kind of relinquishing some of that control of health and wellness to users through innovative, user-controlled administration devices. So I've been noticing a lot of products that give users the opportunity to kind of decide just how much or what kind of CBD or THC they consume. And I think that aligns perfectly with something that we're seeing in the broader culture, which is like the advent of microdosing and macrodosing. And now, Britt,
Yeah.
if you're like me and a select few other types of people across history, you've been familiar with the technique of microdosing other kinds of substances, right? But today, I would say
hmm
people microdose like everything: caffeine, dairy products, screen time, whatever. So it
Oh,
kind of makes sense that
do they?
cannabis would fit into this trend, right?
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that people were microdosing all those things. I gotta try microdosing coffee. I really think I have too much of that.
see, that's where I lean into the macro dosing section. I'm like a classic hippie speedball type where I'll do the CBD or THC in conjunction with like too much caffeine.
That's fun too.
If you are interested in that kind of micro and macro dosing of cannabis and, as a possible gift for yourself or for other people in your life who just read their most recent Michael Pollan book or whatever and won't shut up about microdosing, I have a couple recommendations. You ready?
hmm
Okay, perfect. So the first one is one of my favorites. It's called the My High Powdered THC, and it's essentially a water-soluble THC powder you can pour into whatever drink you have in front of you. And it's kind of like a more
Oh,
discreet alternative to a joint or a vape, and they don't have any additives at all that other sugary edibles might have. And in my opinion, most importantly, they're available in 5 to 10 milligram sticks. You can't see me doing air quotes. I'm making air quotes sticks. So you can parse them out to yourself over the course of a day or an hour or whatever, however you want to dose yourself.
that's cool. What states is that going to be available in?
I believe that's California, Massachusetts, but I'm not super sure on that.
Okay. Well, cool. All right. I like that you can add that to any liquid, right? Anything.
Totally.
The soups and brews and drinks and everything.
Yeah, and if you go to the MyHigh website, they have a landing page that's a bunch of different cocktails that go well with the different kinds of THC that they have in their MyHigh powdered sticks. So you can not hippie speedball. What is it? I don't know what it's called when you would consume THC strategically with alcohol, and
Yeah.
that was an interesting experience for me. And another one that's similar in that it's an innovative kind of delivery mechanism is the microdosing mists by Rebel. It's basically exactly what it
hmm
sounds like. It's a THC mist that you can just spray into your mouth for fast acting, again, kind of like a discrete high. And each of their 3 different mists offers a different experience. I recommend the Luster option that has green tea. It's like really tasty and, again, caffeine addict. So kind of moving more in that hippie speedball phenomenon.
A little jolt. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a really cool invention. So, like back in the day before they'd make out in the movies and they'd spray their little spray into their mouths, it's like that kind of spray?
Yeah, so that's like a
Wow.
phenomenon that I'm seeing too amongst these kind of innovative delivery systems is like with broader tech things, like oftentimes you'll see it in sci-fi and then people who actually can do science create things based off science fiction. And I feel like that's what the
Yeah.
microdosing mist feels like. It's like a strange futuristic product that's come to fruition now.
Wow, that is really cool. I like that. I know that that one's available in Massachusetts. Do you happen to know where else that one's available?
So it's by Rebel. So wherever Rebel products are sold, the microdosing Halo mists should be available. But I do have a product on my list here that I purposefully included just because literally anybody, anywhere in the US can order this in the mail. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell me about this one.
So this is the Day One CBD water, which is strangely enough has become an official partner with US Pickleball. One of their like taglines is that they're aiming to help pickleball players get in the right mindset before taking the court. Pickleball is still like a trend, right? That's still
Wow.
on trend.
Yeah, that's still a thing. I wanted to try it next year, actually. I was pitching an idea to Jen about this. I was like, stoned pickleball is up there with stoned golf
Mm.
and stoned ping pong. And there's a couple other sports that I think really go well with. I like that. Day one CBD
Yeah,
water. So this hydrates you and sort of gives you like focus.
yeah. So I'll share my report from the front lines. I tried these myself
Please.
before my weekly ritual of pick up basketball here at Flamingo Park in South Beach. You can catch me on the courts at 6 p.m. 2 days a week. And it was awesome. And each of these cans is 20 milligram or has 20 milligrams of CBD. And there's no sugar added, 3 different flavors. And I would basically drink a can of it over the course of an hour before heading out, do a mile and a half on the track, then hit the basketball court. And it was cool. It was like somewhat relaxing. I don't know, like if you've had CBD before, it's that similar sensation, but just kind of a different delivery mechanism. And again, you can order it to your front door pretty much anywhere in the US, which is great.
I like that. That one's a good one for athletes. Do you think that that'll overtake Gatorade?
Well, since it's more water-based and there's no sugar in it, I would say it's potentially a better alternative. I don't know. I played baseball, basketball, football, volleyball when I was younger, and I would harass my dad to get me Gatorade, and he would ask me, does Gatorade rain from the sky? And I would say no, and he'd be like, well, then you're not drinking it.
Well, there you go.
But, I mean, CBD water's pretty close.
Yeah, I was going to say, water comes, water and CBD, both from the earth. That sounds really nice. All right, so you can get that anywhere in the US. What else do you have that might be in the CBD line of products?
I do have something that's in the CBD line of products. It's not quite in the in my very narrow taxonomy of new kinds of products, but I can heartily recommend the 707 Flora line of CBD and hemp-infused skincare products. They make a very light daily moisturizer, and I use their Moisture Matrix Leave-On Night Mask, too, when my skin is feeling a little dry. A warning, though, the daily moisturizer doesn't have an SPF in it, so you just have to make sure that you use a different moisturizer daily in conjunction with whatever your favorite, morning, afternoon, or twilight time SPF is. Since moving to Florida.
Maybe if you live in Miami in Florida, yeah, but not in New England.
I don't know, Britt. I think SPF, I think there's lots of emerging evidence to suggest that everybody everywhere should be wearing SPF on their faces and extremities. But, this is not a skincare podcast, so I won't get into it.
No. But even if you're like super pale British and live in the snowiest part of New England, yeah, I do still have the moisturizer that has SPF. Just in case. You can't go wrong with it. But the 707 skincare line, do they have any under the eye stuff or any lip stuff? My lips are always getting really dry up here.
Yeah, they have this matte eye cream that I tried out that was like totally awesome. It's like slightly lightening because I have some kind of like hyperpigmentation around my eyes. It's genetic. It's fine. It's not a vitamin deficiency. And that like lightening cream that's like a matte finish creates a little bit of an illusion of slightly brighter around the eyes that I'll do like after an SPF if I'm going to do any kind of like makeup look or anything like that. So I can definitely recommend that too. And if you go to their website, they also have CBD tinctures that aren't for the skin that you can consume. So they're like broadening out a lot. It's a great brand and I can highly recommend them.
Nice. I like to find a nice skincare brand. All right. Tell me what else is on your list. I've got 8 nights of Hanukkah, 7 nights of Hanukkah. My mom's going to be mad. But I've got a lot of gifts to get. So tell me what's on your list.
I've got something that's potentially for you, Britt, because I know you're the serious smoker around these parts. So I don't know where you're at with vaping in general. I know last time we chatted, you're very much a flower person, and it seems like you've got your...
I am, but I've been told to try vaping flower, so I'm interested in like flower vaporizers, but I have been gifted some oil vaporizers lately. It's in my world. I'll try it. I'll try anything once.
Well, something that fits into the category of microdosing and macrodosing plus sort of innovative delivery systems is the new mod vape. And I feel like when I was on the podcast about 2 years ago, my critically acclaimed appearance, DMs were flooded. It was amazing.
Remember that?
So if vaping felt pervasive then, I don't even know how to describe it now, right? Like National Geographic says the Earth's atmosphere is composed of about 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen and 0.9% argon and 0.1% of other gases with trace amounts of methane, water vapor, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure at this point that mix has changed given the amount of vaping that's going on. Anyway, my top vape...
there is literally vape everywhere.
Right? I saw Minions Rise of Gru. over the summertime, and I saw like 4 different people vaping in the movie theater.
In the theater, the cheek of
Mhm.
it.
So my recommendation of the mod vape is it's an interesting one because you can snap any universal 510 threaded cartridge into their Founders Edition device and just start vaping right away. And that's not super uncommon, right? Because there are interchangeable vape systems, but the device offers feedback via a haptic control, like a touch control that says the dosage information on a small screen and lets you know how much you're dosing yourself with each one of your inhalations. And it offers like a gentle little
Whoa.
vibration when you're pulling in, and it links to a mobile app so you can kind of monitor your usage over time, which is like, that was one of my biggest challenges when I was vaping a little while ago. It's like, how much am I
Man,
even doing right now?
that is really clutch because I used to just sit and smoke it. I tried a vape pen and I just kind of kept going and didn't realize how quickly I was getting through it. That's an incredible invention. I love technology.
I know. And that's a moment where I relinquish my user data to something and I'm like, this is fine. This isn't a violation of my
Yeah.
privacy. This feels like something that I can actually get use out of. So,
Yeah, that could really help you also if you're trying in the new year to cut down on how much you vape, or you just want to know a little more about trying to make it for medical uses. You want to make sure that you're taking the same dosage every single time. That's a really cool little device. I like that one.
yeah. And it's lightweight and transportable. So you can basically bring it anywhere if you're traveling around. And if you want to go see Minions Rise of Gru on a re-screening, you can vape in the movie theater.
And you should.
And I think kind of maybe to round out my recommendations here, I'll just take like a complete left-hand turn and insist that everybody goes to follow Isabella Munoz on Instagram right now and check out her ceramics. That's
Ooh.
MUNISA_Ceramica, CERAMICA. She's a Mexican artist working in LA, making some of what are, in my opinion, like the most beautiful bowls for smoking flower that maybe we've ever featured in the magazine. All of her
Wow.
bowls are made from ceramic, and they're all like shaped and formed in almost like a photorealistic rendering of different fruit. So it'll be like a passion fruit or a star fruit or an orange or whatever it is, but it's like cut in half and sits perfectly in your hand like a piece of fruit would, but there's like a carb and a spot to put weed in. So it's this like beautiful design object that's also like perfect for smoking. And I know
That's
yeah,
cool.
we're in an audio medium right now, and me struggling to describe them is
Are you miming
it? So just
I can feel you miming the smoke. I can picture exactly what you're saying. And I know that I've seen it in the pages of Different Leaf magazine as well. And it is like really, the colors of it are really eye-catching. And I think it would look cool on a bookshelf. Like after I finish smoking, my pipes usually get washed out and they sit on my bookshelf. So I like them to be pretty because they're kind of a part of my home decor. So I like a pipe that's like cool like that. And I've got a lot of pineapples around my house. Don't ask me why. So I would love a pineapple pipe. That would be kind of
yeah,
cool.
definitely take a look. And what I noticed about her progression over time is that she's now just made even more intricate work. So she used to be a baker and like a cake designer. So she does like piping of clay onto these pieces to create these like really intricate bowls. So like it's not just normal like forming or hand building. It's all of these different techniques that go into this beautiful little object. Highly recommend.
Nice. Isabella Munoz.
Yeah, Isabella
Okay.
Munoz, I believe is how her name's pronounced, and that Munisa_Ceramica on Instagram.
Oh, I love that. That is a nice selection of gifts. We've got a lot of holidays coming up, and I've got a lot of people to buy for, and I think that there's something in there for everybody. There were a couple other things that you'd written about, a couple other products you'd written about in the Fall Different Leaf magazine issue that really caught my eye. And I wanted to ask you if it was really worth it. And the first one is the CBD toothpaste by Springene. Is it really worth it?
Yeah, so that was a funny one because I kind of looked at that when it was assigned and I kind of shrugged my shoulders. And I think the theme of my write-up for that was, CBD toothpaste, why not? Like,
Yeah,
why not
right.
just try it? Like, you're already putting CBD on your face. You're dripping it down your throat every day. You're smoking it in joints. Like, try it out. See what happens.
Yeah, put it on your gums. Why
Right,
not?
precisely. I am a Sensodyne girl. That's what I use all day, every day. So I can't necessarily spend too much time trying out a CBD toothpaste, but it's again, one of these things where it's like, why not? That was a little bit of my attitude with the CBD seltzer water that I mentioned before. And it worked out great. And I now basically just order it once every other month.
Nice. One of the other ones I wanted to ask you about that you'd written about is a roll-on that you can put on your skin, on your head, by Holeaf, H-O-L-I-E-F, and is meant to help with headaches.
Yeah, that product is sweet because it has like those cannabinoids on that like dark metal roller, but there's also a bunch of other aromatics and like vitamins and minerals in that mixture. So it's sort of specifically designed to take things that historically have been really good for topical relief of headaches and combine that with cannabinoids. And I think that's another trend that I've seen is like taking mixtures that are like, in some cases, hundreds of years old and adding CBD or THC into the mix to see how that changes results. And I think that's a good example of one that's pretty efficacious.
Nice. I like that. And I have somebody in mind that I want to buy that one for. Finally, on our list, we must mention apparel because there is literally nothing cooler in my wardrobe right now than the new Different Leaf hoodie, which has been artist designed by one of the coolest fashion artists that I've seen out there right now, Morgan F. Hill. Morgan Hill is such a cool artist. She does really beautiful natural prints that just flow on the runway. And she has done this print for this hoodie that I'm currently wearing, which you guys can't see, but it's my favorite new hoodie. It's like this dark, deep blue, and it's a print of her hand-drawn botanical illustrations of the cannabis plant, close-ups of the leaves and the buds and the flowers. And they're in yellows, oranges, pinks, kind of pine greens. It's really poppin'. And the coolest thing about it, I mean, aside from the print, is that there is this little zipper pocket at the front where I can stash my weed. I love it. It's perfect for like outdoor festivals. I am super snuggly in it. I wear it all day, every day. Everybody comments on it. Anytime I walk down the street and I walk past somebody says to me, "That's a cool hoodie. Where'd you get that?" And I'm like, xdifferentleaf.com.
Yep, I was just going to plug the webpage and Morgan F. Hill on Instagram. That's Morgan, the letter F, and then Hill, or www.morganfhill.com. And you can see some of her other work there too. Yeah, I'm literally obsessed and so jealous that you all have them. I still need to place my order. I don't know why one wasn't just sent to me in Miami, but that's okay. I will place my order.
I had to beg, borrow, and steal for this hoodie, my friend. I had to be like, I will do anything. It's the coolest thing I own.
There's a great spread too in the most recent edition of Different Leaf, the magazine, of a sort of a mini fashion shoot of lots of different people wearing the socks, the hoodie. Yeah, that's so dope.
Yeah, it is. There's socks, hoodies, t-shirts, bucket hats. Bucket hats are back.
The bucket hats, yep.
And we've also got on the team of designers Marissa Belbazan, who does these gorgeous watercolor paintings of handheld cannabis bouquets. And we've got one of those on a white tee, and it's just really soft and beautiful and subtle. I love it. And then we've also got Joe Wardwell, who is an incredible artist, and he really makes sort of these punchy, punky, really brightly colored landscape photos overlaid with like song lyrics. And on the t-shirt that we've got at xdifferentleaf.com, the song lyric that is written on the t-shirt is "We Call It Finally Free," which is a lyric by the rapper Tigray. And he's just got such inspired art. I was so excited to see some of his art on one of our t-shirts.
Yeah, and it's Different Leaf as a brand and as like a presence and as a media company, as a magazine, like is so specific and so great and so curated. And I'm so glad to see that in merch form now.
Yeah, I'm going to be rocking it. There's something for every season at xdifferentleaf.com. So make sure you check that out. As we mentioned earlier, a different leaf subscription is another perfect holiday gift. And John, I thought that we'd mention times have been a bit tough, inflation's been high. If you're not somebody who can spend a lot of money this year, another thing that you could do that you can take from the pages of Different Leaf is you can bake, cook, or infuse a drink for somebody and sort of have that meal as your gift to them. I like that idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that's an act of love. That's what it sounds like to me. And that's always
Yeah.
welcome. I actually typically bully most people in my life into not purchasing me gifts. So I appreciate an act to the same extent and maybe even more so in other ways relative to a physical gift. So
Yeah.
in that vein, I know I harped on this last time I was on the podcast, but I'll say it again because sadly not much has changed in the last 2 years. If you're currently enjoying cannabis recreationally or medically somewhere in the United States, you still kind of have to acknowledge that the number of individuals incarcerated for cannabis at any moment in time in the US is higher than 40,000. And that stat is thanks to the Last Prisoner Project website. So with that in mind, I would say please consider donating your time or money to Black and Pink, a national organization fighting for prison abolition alongside incarcerated LGBTQIA plus people and people living with HIV and AIDS. And you can follow them at Black and Pink, that's BLACKANDPINK on Instagram, and follow the link in their bio to learn how you can get involved. They do letter writing campaigns or pen pal campaigns with folks who are incarcerated. You can run your own chapter nationally. So it's not even about necessarily giving cash to the cause. You can donate your time in a lot of different ways too. So
I love that. That is a really great organization to shout out, Black and Pink. Thank you, John. Have we covered all your favorite things for the holiday season, friend?
I think we did.
Nice. Well, do you have any big plans?
I will be seeing the New England Patriots take on the Cincinnati Bengals in Foxborough on Christmas Eve 2022, and I'm freaking out. I am so excited.
Oh my gosh, John, that's big. That's going to be so
Right?
much fun. And also, you're like 10 minutes from my house. Hit me up. We'll have a smoke beforehand.
Really? Oh, that's right. True.
Yeah, I live right by the stadium.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
great.
Yeah, that'll totally happen. I will shoot you a message.
That sounds great. Well, have a very happy holidays, everybody out there. Make sure that you head on over to differentleaf.com for the magazine subscription, xdifferentleaf.com for all of our merchandise line. Thank you, John. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for your amazing list of gift ideas.
Thank you so much for being a lovely host. Britt, you are the best in the business, unequivocally.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you're so sweet. And that's why you get to come back. A big thanks to our guest, Different Leaf, the magazine's merch writer, John Arvanitis. Next week, we'll be hearing from you, our lovely audience, with an episode full of voice memos that you've sent in, telling us your favorite stoned stories from your family holiday experiences with weed. Subscribe wherever you're listening right now so you don't miss next week, and make sure you're following us on social media at Different Leaf and at different_leaf, and I'm at Brit the British. Remember to head on over to differentleaf.com to order the new Fall Edibles magazine issue, or you can go to the subscribe and shop tab and find your nearest in-person retailer that sells Different Leaf. That's differentleaf.com. And make sure to check out xdifferentleaf.com for a peek at our extremely cool new clothing line. That's xdifferentleaf.com.